Okay, good morning. Hello. 6:45. Straight out of bed. Straight out of bed. Got a bit fluffy here. Oh well. And I was like, right, onto the live Q&A. Let's get into it. Whatever you need help with, I'm here to help you. The kind of topics can be broad. Could be to do with motivation, training, nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, supplementation. Straight in, Reese in. Do you miss rugby? I'm 34. My playing days are numbered. BJJ is likely. To be honest, no. So I used to love rugby. Rugby was my life for 15 years. And when I got to Australia, I did join a couple of clubs. Just didn't feel the same as back home. And like, you kind of miss the contact in rugby. And also in rugby, what you really want to do, you really want to get a massive hit on someone. But then when you crunch them and you hit them to the ground, you kind of put your hand out and you help them up. Because although you're in a bit of rivalry, you're also comrades in the same sport. And jiu-jitsu is a lot like that. But the crazy thing for me was I thought rugby was like a contact sport. But let's say a tackle lasts 4 seconds. If you make 10, 15 tackles a game, that's quite a lot of contact. It's like less than 2 minutes of real contact a match. There's like obviously more scrums, whatever. But jiu-jitsu, you have like 5-minute rounds of non-stop. And for me, after you learn the rules of rugby, you can just get fitter and slightly technically better. But jiu-jitsu, as far as like challenging me, keeping me on my toes, friendships, picking and choosing training. Even if you've got an injury in rugby, you're pretty screwed. But if you have a bit of an injury in jiu-jitsu, you can just keep it away from people. Long story short, I found jiu-jitsu a lot more rewarding. My cardiovascular health's probably never been so good. But it's kind of a bit cultish, isn't it? So many people, when they start jiu-jitsu, they get overwhelmed by how much they love it. So it is one of those things where you just need to try it out for yourself. It's like trying a drug, but without the repercussions. It's like giving someone heroin, but the only addiction is positive rather than negative. It's probably a bad analogy. Katie, how do you deal with things when your partner decides to be an arse and, sorry, there's a little heart in the way. All you want to do is drink wine and eat crap. Well, you got 2 problems here, right? Your partner's being an arse and your coping mechanism probably isn't, ideal or congruent with your current goals. So, if drinking wine and eating crap is your coping mechanism, every time he's an arse, you're going to get further away from where you want to be. And ultimately, it's going to make you feel like shit. So, I'm not going to say that going to the gym and exercising is going to make you feel as good as wine and eating shit. But, the wine and the food is probably a short-term thing. The moment you have it, you probably feel better for a short period of time. And then the next day you wake up feeling like a stinking pile of shit. So if you can't control your partner. You can't control anything apart from your reactions, your emotions. So if you want me to give you advice to stop your partner being a dickhead, I can't do that. But what I can do is say, right, if you're willing to potentially try and work on your coping mechanisms and to swap out wine and shit food with anything else, you're being a dick, I'm going to the gym. That could ultimately transform your life. You can never, ever, if you try and go through life trying to stop someone else's actions or, you're going to very much struggle. But yeah, that's what I do. I change your coping mechanism. Then, right, imagine this. Every time your partner's an arse, he just watches you drink wine and eat shit. But if he saw you go to the gym, he might think, oh, God, that doesn't make me feel good. It could change. I don't know. Callum, I can only fit leg day in on a Thursday around my running days. Currently trying to get my speed up for park runs on Saturday. Legs still a little sore then. Will my legs start to recover better? Yeah, but mate, I did a video about this week. So like whatever amount of volume you're allocating to your leg days, why not just split it up? So let's say you're doing 9 sets of hard leg work. You could do 3 on a Monday, 3 on a Wednesday, 3 on a Friday, right? And ultimately, if you were to then split it up a little bit better, you wouldn't be so sore because you're trying to run straight after allocating a lot of volume to legs. It just, yeah, or you could just dial back the amount of work you're giving to your legs a few days out. Like rugby players usually would work on a Tuesday before playing on a Saturday. Might not be a recovery thing. It might be yourself giving yourself too much kind of thing. So yeah, could be that. Could be that. Hi, James. Is there any merit to the tones of pretty hardcore kettlebell Instagram content? I keep seeing recommended. Surely too good to be true. I don't understand what you're seeing. Hardcore kettlebell. I don't even know what that is. Edward, tore my meniscus doing BJJ, had a repair operation. How do I get my quads big and strong like you so I can prevent this in the future? Thank you. For a meniscus, the knee has to be pretty bent. I'm not a physio here. I'm not a physio. The knee has to be pretty bent for like the twist to occur. I think that if any of you wanted to avoid injury, it's more so a lot better knowing where your limits are. So if you understand when your knee is close to your chest and your heel is close to your butt, that any kind of internal and external rotation could jeopardize your meniscus. This just means that you and your training partners, and this is the thing, as a white belt, sometimes you don't understand, or a blue belt, where quite your knee is jeopardized and where it isn't. So whether or not someone has you in a lockdown or whatever, you need to understand the exact positions. And you could even say to your professor, you could say, hey, what positions are my knees, most vulnerable? Probably 50-50, probably lockdown, probably, someone passing your guard. And I've popped like a part of my knee before where for the next few months, I would stop my partner and be like, whoa, you can have the pass. Just let me get my knee out of here. You can take side control, mate. I just don't want to be in this position. And they'll do it. And when you train with people here on in, you can do all the prehab and rehab. But just before you roll, say to your training partner, this knee is recovering. Don't jeopardize it. I'll happily give you the position and wherever we end up. But yeah. I think you understanding the positions better will protect your knee more than any quadricep. What's the best way of not losing any gains you've made while you're on holiday if you haven't had access to the gym? So reversibility, aka losing gains, some people it will occur within 2 weeks. Most people it's about a month. Now, what will happen in the short term is the kind of glycogen that you have within a muscle, especially if you stop taking creatine as well, that balloon just feels like it deflates. So it makes you feel like you've lost a lot of muscle when in reality you haven't. You just, not trained for a week. Having a week off, you'd be fine. Absolutely fine. If you haven't got access to a gym, still fine. You'll come back pretty well rested. You'll probably even perform quite well. It's even, in really smart programming, athletes get a week off here and there. So if you don't want to lose any gains, obviously, maybe don't drink so much, maybe don't have too many sleepless nights. But if you can reposition the way you look at a holiday, more so as looking at it as, a bit of time away from the gym, a rest week or whatever, to fully let your muscles recover, I think you're going to have a much better time. So yeah, I would definitely look into it or try and treat it like that for sure. So yeah. Hey, I have a question. Why do my knees keep crackling when doing leg press? It's a really weird feeling. How does it go away? I'm not 100% sure, if I'm honest, for that. I'm really just not that sure. I'm just going to double check that this is working within the app. I get paranoid that sometimes I've put the wrong link in and that the audio quality isn't good. Oh no, it's working. There we go. Just got to make sure. Michael, low carb diets, yes or no? Trying to keep below 50 grams a day, but missing oats and occasional bread. Okay, well, it depends what you're going low carb for. So if you were going low carb because you thought it would elicit more fat loss, it's not really quite how it works. So whether or not you go high fat or high carb, as long as your protein remains the same, like a constant throughout all of it, it doesn't make a difference for fat loss. So you don't want your fats to go too low because we need them for the production of a lot of scientific things, including hormones. And you don't want your carbs to go too low. 50 grams a day is very low carbohydrate. Now, I know some people like to believe that that is going to be superior for fat loss, but I disagree. I think that these peaks and troughs of high and lower carbohydrate days are going to occur anyway. They're going to happen. They're going to have days where you have too many fats and your carbs are going to have to come down. But I think occasionally having high carbohydrate days is great. I think if you're missing oats and occasional bread, absolutely have it. Because if you're missing something in a diet, if you can stick to 50 grams and below, you're doing well enough. I think you should have them. And just for the sake of 50 grams a day just screams to me, and for anyone else that maybe doesn't know, it's like 200 calories a day of carbohydrates. That screams to me like glycogen depletion. Like it screams to me that 100% you would be running the risk of not being fueled well enough for any of your kind of workouts or anything that you're doing. So yeah, I don't think that's enough carbohydrates, to be honest. Even in a low carb diet, like there was a diet I did back in the day where you had to deplete muscle glycogen to get almost into a state of ketosis, or it might even be ketosis. I'm pretty sure it's 50 grams. I'm pretty sure that was literally the cutoff that we had to hit, and it was suffering, absolutely suffering. Do some of you guys get a notification in the app? I'm just wondering why there aren't more people on. Maybe that could just be me going, did you get a notification in the app? Be interested to know. I'm pretty sure. Do you know what it could have been? I don't know. I was pissing about with the marker for the thumbnail. Maybe because I was sniffing the marker, YouTube thought I was trying to be naughty, you're teasing me. Anyway, what can you do? All right. Ashley, I've just completed the 4-week starter program, finally starting to see progress, and I'm able to lift heavier and better each day. Would you recommend I continue with the current program? Yeah, so I'm glad you're on the starter. That's what it's there for. So I would say probably do it 2 more times, get to that 6-week mark, and then request a new program. And with that new program, imagine working with the coaches in the academy should be like visiting a tailor. So you've been to the tailor, you've had your item of clothing. Now, it was a great fit at the time, but only by wearing it for 6 weeks or so would just getting the buffering circle spinning. It's definitely going to be my Wi-Fi then, isn't it? Oh my God. Can you hear me all right though? If you can hear me all right, that could be all right. Oh, fuck's sake. That could be why. All right, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I would say take that 6 weeks, and I would say any changes or anything that you would like to have done to the program, do it in the next rotation. Then yeah, you could say, I don't like this, I do like this, I want to do other things. And yeah. All right. Just getting the buffering circle. That's so annoying. And I've got to get to the bottom of this as to why that's happening. Because, for instance, maybe it's because I'm in Australia. You never know, right? You never know. And if I open it on my end, it looks good. So I don't know what's going on there. Look at that. Looks all right. I don't know. Technology. Hey, bastards. Nothing I can do about that at the time being. Oh, might have to start doing these at the gym. Might have to start going to the gym to do these. Well, I'll tell you what I might do is I might call it a day there, and I will have to chase up and see if I can figure this out. If it's not good for some people. Totally laggy here in Dublin. All right, I'll try and figure it out. Redo a video on strength and conditioning for MMA in time when I know more, 100% for sure. All right, if it's buffering for you guys, I'm going to finish it here and I'll try and get onto it. But anyway, I'll be back on same time tomorrow, or maybe even shortly. I don't know. Let me figure this out. I've got paranoia. Speak to you guys in a bit.